Hello Sagittarius, September 2022, love and general reading. This is for you if you are Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, cross watchers, or just somebody, looking for a DIY video and you're like, who is this woman throwing tarot cards? Well, there could be a message for you. Okay, so it's a general reading. It's not going to resonate with everybody. But if it is your story and it really resonates with you, there will be a juicy extended reading. And the link, as ever, will be in the description box below. We're joined by my cat, Valentine, who's asleep on the bed. And we're ready to rumble. I'm going to take a card or two first about how you come into the month, okay? How does Saggy come into the month? What energy are we bringing with us that we need to know about? I'm going to take two cards for this. Ooh. It's very autumnal, those of you that are in the Northern Hemisphere. I think we're in the Northern Hemisphere. I say that with some authority, but I don't 100% know what hemispheres are, but I think we're in the Northern one, because I think Australians, unless you're Australian, you're in the Southern one. Okay, because this looks quite autumnal to me. You're coming in with these two Pentacle cards, which are not amazingly Sagittarius in their execution. But nevertheless, okay, it's a kind of a gentle reckoning. Here we got the workman, he's leaning on his hoe and he's reckoning on his harvest. How good was the harvest? How much work did I put in? How well did it work for me? And will I carry on with this onto the Eight of Pentacles, where we got that guy who's hammering them out? Or will I change tack and do something differently? Okay, now this can be about relationships, work, whatever it is, but it's a kind of following a pattern and then taking stock. So some of you are quite sensibly taking stock of how much effort you've put into something and whether you want to keep going with that. Okay, now this card, Five of Pentacles, one of my favourite tarot cards, even though it is a tad miserable. We've got the two people passing under the lighted church window, and they could go inside here and get the heat, the light, the cucumber sandwiches, maybe some communion wine, okay? However, they don't. They choose to pass under the church window and take this walk in the snow. And it's a flurry. It doesn't look very comfortable, but again, their reckoning is they're better off doing it their way. They don't want to be controlled by somebody else. So Saggy, you may have these feelings. A lot of these feelings arise either when you're in a workplace or when you're in a relationship. So you don't particularly want to be under anyone's control. And I feel like for Sagittarians, unusually, because you're ruled by Jupiter, and tell me, by the way, I'm gathering data about all star signs. So let me know what is the best thing about being a Sagittarian and what is the worst thing or just something I don't know, okay? Spill the tea on being a Sag. I might do a video on it when I've got enough data together. Okay, Saggy, this doesn't look like you, but it kind of does. Your videos for the last few months have been a lot less carefree than normal. You're ruled by Jupiter. If you want to help a Sagittarian, give them loads of space. That's what I would say. As an employer, if you're into box ticking, it's not going to chime with your Saggy worker, Give them the freedom, they'll come back to you with loads of stuff. So this is a sense you're either being monitored, chivied, looked at, something like that you don't really like. It could also be by a friend doing it to you or social media or something like that. And for some of you, it may be in your personal relationships that you feel like you want to break out a little bit and have a bit more space or personal freedom. Now, also this is to do with money, prosperity. Okay, we think of money as kind of separate sometimes from everything else, but I feel like here it's really showing us that money is an energy, excuse me, that can be generated gathered and examined like anything else, okay? And again, here, Five of Pentacles, you may get offered money to do a job that actually compromises your principles or would take away your freedom. For example, they offer you a job, but it includes working 7 days a week. You'll never get your weekend again. Or you lose your freelance status or whatever it is. And you feel like, would be really nice to have that load of money, but I really value my personal freedom more. Okay? So you're taking a walk on the wild side here. And it's not comfortable. Okay? It isn't comfortable when you take the Five of Pentacles because it feels like a hard slog. You're taking a walk in the snow, but it's very rewarding in the long term. Okay, what else do we need to know for Sagittarius? Incoming, okay? In comes a message. In comes a missive. I like to call it a missive. In comes the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords makes an entrance. He kind of dashes into the tarot reading. Sire, I have a message. Paching, he drops it. He breaks the wax seal, the whole bit. Somebody texts, emails, calls, even snail mail, who knows. And it breaks this spell. In they come. Some of you could be dealing here with an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So you could meet an air sign or an air sign will influence something. But for others of you, it's just because the air sign is the sign of communication. Okay? Ooh. And there we have something that's come up for you for the last few months that doesn't normally come up for Sagittarians. The Nine of Wands. Boundaries. It's been very important for you to have boundaries a lot over the last few months, about the last 6 months. And this is because somebody or something is pushing your boundaries. For some of you, this could be that work person who is like a manager or a boss or a regime who's keeping you locked down on something. You know, like micromanaging you a little bit, got their eye on you a little bit, over analysing your performance, that kind of thing. For others of you, if you're dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, you need to have your ducks in a row because this is a flurry of excitement and talk and communication. And actually this could also be not just for air signs, but just the way it comes to you is so sudden and so quick. I need to tell you, I need to tell you this, that the best time to get your boundaries in a row or ready or solid is before the situation arises. So make sure you have the boundaries that you've been working on for the last kind of few months or so up and running. Because I feel like in all areas of your life, Sagittarius, you're going to be a bit challenged here. They want to know what you're made of when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to money. The universe is like, right, here you go. Here's the news. How do you react? Ooh, nice. Then we get the World card, which is a very Sagittarian card. It's the last card in the Major Arcana. It encompasses all of the other cards in the Major Arcana, and it's a major life cycle. Ouroboros, the snake that eats itself. It's a major life cycle for you. Things are looking to change. Autumn brings the feelings of wanting to change. And the Knight of Swords brings swift news in that direction. Okay? For some of you, it's like an all change. You could change your job. You could change where you live. None of these things are that challenging to Sagittarians in particular because you're good at change. You're mutable and you're fire. It's great. I always say I'm jealous. Got my midheaven in Sagittarius, but that's it. I would like more. Okay. And then you get the Magician. Some of you, again, dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Some of you are learning a new art or skill here, because the Magician is landing under the Seven of Pentacles, but also it's about your manifesting abilities and your ability to draw down the magic that you kind of know and have experienced in your Sagittarian dream states, and you will know what that is, how to kind of funnel that down into your life. Now, I feel like it's been under attack, and I feel like it's been curtailed in the last few months. The universe wants you to get back to being the Magician, to being in magical charge, okay? If this is about an air sign, as very often I associate that card with Gemini and Aquarius. Oh, Five of Cups. Shove them up a bit. Always get stuck in my sequins on the old mermaid cloth. You don't get many mermaids saying that. You're stuck in my sequins. Okay, Five of Cups. There is something you need to leave behind, that you think you've left behind, that you did leave behind, but you left a piece of it back there, okay? This is a card of grieving what you've left behind and recognizing that there is still something out there for you with the Two of Cups. Maybe to do with a Pisces, Cancer or Scorpio. But I kind of, oh God. Yes, the Tower. I kind of feel like the Five of Cups person is looking at the Magician. Let me just have some water. And I'll let you into a little secret, which I knew I was going to have to let you into, because I saw this coming, which I suppose is my job. Well, I've done your reading before, so this is the second time I've done your reading. It didn't work the first time because I didn't plug the microphone in. I know. Hands up, huge technical issue. You didn't plug the microphone in, Gemma. And you got the Tower. It was the first card that came out. And I felt bad because, you know, you have this thing as a tarot reader, when the readings go wrong, you think, I'd only done 2 cards. But even then, you feel a bit inauthentic not keeping the 2 cards for the next reading. But then the other part of being a tarot reader kicked in, which said, if that Tower needs to come out again, it will. And I know that it will. And so here we are. Tower is a big card for you this month, both in where you are now and what's going to happen during the month. I would wager during this month, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 9th or the 10th-ish, and we have a full moon in Pisces on the same day. To me, that's like, it's like an emotional kind of Alice in Wonderland experience. You know, if you can just imagine a kaleidoscope going backwards, that's Mercury retrograde meets full moon in Pisces. Amazing if you were kind of wanting to do some very creative or esoteric work around that time. But I think it puts everyone into a bit of a headspin. So when we have the Five of Cups, it's Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So that's a kind of, you could be dealing with a water sign here. But either way, whatever this lifestyle is, relationship, whatever you have set up as functional and consistent in your life, the way you earn money, the way you relate to people, it's all in for a bit of a World and Tower do-over. Mercury retrograde tends to do this to us anyway. All the usual stuff does happen with Mercury retrograde. You lose things, which I generally find when Mercury's retrograde, you always find them again. So take comfort from that. You have the exes showing up. You have the weird sort of double text, you know, just all that whole duplicate. Lots of duplications. Yeah, I think that's it. Lots of duplications. I hope that's a word. And what also happens is shifts that need to be made in a kind of magical way, magician, tower, world, get made almost like you step into like a parallel universal time zone. Wondering if one of my cats is at the door. Parallel universe or time zone, okay? Now, Sagittarians, you won't be too bothered by that because like us Pisceans, I feel like you do that anyway. Kind of astral travel and just general time weirdness is something that Sagittarians are quite cool with. Just wondering if the boy was going to go and get the parcel from the door, and he is. We are blessed. It's a blessing. So I don't feel too kind of trepidatious about this. I feel like you can cope with the weirdness, but do know that the universe is going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works around this time. And it could be a very exciting, glittery spanner that creates magic. But it's going to bring down the edifice of what's normal, okay? So in relationships, I think this is going to challenge the structure of the relationship. If it's to do with work, I feel like it's going to challenge the structure of work. Yeah. Now, get you with your 9 of Wands up there and your 7 of Wands down here. Lots and lots of fire to fight with, which is good because Sagittarians aren't fighters in particular, but you are fire signs. So necessarily you can light up when you need to. 9 of Wands was boundaries and protecting yourself. And the 7 of Wands is standing your corner. Again, it's Mars in Leo. It's back off. I've got this. Now, 7s, transformation and change. 7s with a big stick. This is my transformation and change. If I need to beat you off with a shitty stick, I will. Not recommending that anyone goes out and gets a shitty stick and beats anybody with it. Just metaphorical stick. Okay? This is my metaphorical shitty stick. I might have to do that on my merch. What do you think, Saggy? Should I add that to my... I haven't got a merch page, but if I had, that would be my first piece of merch. For boundaries and defensiveness, the metaphorical shitty stick. Okay, joking aside, let's pop the Page of Cups over there. We'll talk about him and his smelly fish in a cup in a minute. Underneath the box where you can see me, we've got the 9 of Pentacles. Venus in Virgo, getting my ducks in a row. Now, kind of compare that over here with the 7 of Pentacles, and it compares very favourably. All that's missing is the 8 in between, and that may come up in the extended reading, we don't know. We've got something growing, which I like. 7 goes to the 9, and all of a sudden she knows what to do with all of this stuff that she's accumulated, the money, the security. They display it here as kind of nice things in a garden, the bird of paradise and the nice outfit, you know, but it's whatever it is for you. A sense of independence, no matter what your relationship status, is going to become increasingly important in September. Almost like if Mercury retrograde was a kind of swirling, fast-moving river to which you couldn't reach the side, this would be that kind of, you know, like when you see it in the movies when a big plank of wood bobs up and somebody just grabs hold of it like a kind of makeshift raft, okay? You're going to have to make your own raft. Isn't it awful when they do that on like work away days? It's like, wouldn't it be great if we took all these completely boring people that you already excruciatingly spend your time with in the office and, you know, secretly can't stand, and why don't we put you all in an away day where it's cold and wet and get you to build a raft together in some dirty river before giving you a cheap lunch? You're like, That could finish me off. Anyway, I digress. You are your own life raft here. And it's not as dramatic as that, but you are definitely, you've got to build your own obelisk. Because look, when you get the Tower, whatever you had before was built by somebody else or something else or some sense of falsehood. And you can get by on that for a while, but the universe would like to bring that down now, because it's like changing the set when the show is over. You've done the run. God, I'm into my metaphors today. You've done the run, and then, you change the set. It's time to build something new. You need to build a new truth for yourself, and you need to acknowledge the old stuff. The old whatever it is, okay? If this is about a close personal relationship, a romantic relationship, the relationship, I think, will be tested in September. No doubt. I mean, Mercury retrograde, new moon and the full moon in Pisces, all around the 10th. It's going to be tested between the 10th and about the 7th of October, because that is the Mercury retrograde time. And Mercury retrograde, sometimes it comes in like a hurricane, like woof, buff, straight off. And sometimes it comes in and you're like, astrology nonsense, astrology be damned. And then it just sneaks up on you a week later. You're like, oh my God, somebody save me. Save yourself, Sagittarius. Save yourself. Even if you're in a very tight, close personal relationship, save yourself. There's something here about going it alone in a sense. And I don't mean you have to finish with somebody or be single if you don't want to be. But you are still the agent of your own change. And there's something here about, and I'll let you in on a secret as well, the other card you got with the Tower was the Queen of Swords in reverse. So just for a few of you, there is somebody interfering in your probably business world, I would have thought. Could be relationships, but somebody who is over micromanaging, who is a bit fussy in a way that does not chime with you. Okay, so that's just for a few of you. Now, love, love, love. Page of Cups. And I also wanted to take the bottom card. Ooh, way up. The Empress. So, we have the Page of Cups and the Empress. I'm rather pleased to see her over there. Page of Cups is something coming in like an offer. It's usually in the early stages of an offer. So it's like a text message that comes in from someone, or, a first approach on a dating site. It's not always straight out with it. It's more of an opener. It's an opener. The page is the kind of lowest form of the court cards for the cups. You've got the page, the knight, the king and the queen. And, it's nice. It can be an apology. Mercury being retrograde, it can be an ex sneaking back into the DMs or back into the nest or back into the fold, or wanting to say hi, or just wondering how you are. Can't avoid that in Mercury retrograde. You don't have to acknowledge it, but you can't avoid it. For some of you, it may be a loved one wanting to apologise, or a partner, romantic partner wanting to apologise. But something kicks off with this, I think. And what previously was the truth, or passed for the truth, or was, I would say more than the truth, the status quo, becomes up for grabs. So this is going to happen to a lot of signs when we have the full moon in Pisces and the Mercury retrograde. But you need to be ready. You need to know what your corner is to defend it. Buy your shitty stick from my merch page. And know that your boundaries are straight and sound. Okay? And then we've got the Empress. I like the Empress because she really, really, for me, is this Nine of Pentacles woman writ large. Now with the Empress, always know that mother issues can be in the offing. It can be your relationship with your mother, your status as a mother, or your feminine energy, but it's very mother type energy, okay? How you were parented or how you parent. It's also to do with female cycle, with pregnancies, with all of the jamboree of the female cycle as well is involved in that. Somehow you're coming into a massively strong energy, and it's the energy of the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles, and it really, really helps when you get into this kind of very nebulous and probably quite difficult to control situation. In the extended, I'm going to look at that tower that came up twice. I'm going to look at your relationship, how they feel about you, what's going on with your person, and what is this kind of explosiveness here? What do we need to know? Is there anything going on behind the scenes? Now I'm going to do some of these Affairs of the Heart Oracle cards for those of you looking at the love side of this. So let's billy-bot back, because they're quite faint. Well, they're not faint, they're just not very colourful. Oh, that one's come up quite a lot. You get the soulmate card. Strong connection, romance and friendship. Oh, sneaky, karmic, underhand, deceit, lies, secrets. Now, that won't be for everyone, but if it's for you, it's to do with that Queen of Swords in reverse. Just saying, I know that vibe, and it is. Nice. Isn't that weird? Shall I show it to the right camera? We get autumn. And you remember we looked at the beginning at the first two cards, the Five of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, and said autumn. It looks like autumn. September, October, November. Huge development time for you. A growth time, but also a development time in your relationships and in your work and just in your life, actually. Social media, watching stories, following stories, posting stuff. For those of you that are doing that as a business, this is good. Okay, we've got that Knight of Swords. You may get an opportunity coming into you that comes in about or on social media, surrounding social media. I like that. But again, make sure you're in your Empress, Nine of Pentacles power. Triggered, emotional, provoked, overthinking. That's what someone might seek to do, to try and discombobulate you and to try and knock you off balance. But we have peace, harmony, inner zen, and a peaceful mind. That's who you naturally are, okay? You don't need to let yourself be triggered by whoever that Queen of Swords in reverse is. Big thing about you and air signs this month, really. There's a lot of air sign action. So, Belinda Grace, what are they called? True love reading cards. Chivalry. From whoever it comes from. This is someone's ability to put you first and to behave like a decent human being. And you are going to be assessing their ability to be able to do that or not, okay? And for some of you, it will be a tower moment because it will undo everything you thought you knew about this person. And for others of you, it probably will be a bit of a surprise for the better, okay? Either way, Saggy, it's a very interesting reading. There's a lot going on for you around the mid-September to early October time. But remember, you got the card September, October, November as well. So autumn is a big, big growth time. I am going to go and do your extended reading. The link is below in the destruction box. Do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Namaste.